Hey everybody, catscamper.com. Today I'm going to de-winterize my water system. So I've come in here, this is my dinette, one of the benches, and so there's a piece of plywood and cushions. So I've removed those. I'm checking the valves. So what we have here, we have the hot water heater. You can see the red pipe would be the hot water out, and down below the blue pipe would be the cold water going into the hot water heater. We have the water pump, and this is the valve for the winterization, and there's the tube that you could stick in the bottle of antifreeze. What I want to do in de-winterizing, I want to make sure none of that antifreeze goes into the hot water heater. So I have my valve set to off and off, going in and out of the hot water heater. And this valve is the bypass valve, and so that's in the on position. It's a little hard to see, but that's in the on position so that the water would come in the cold up this way and go back out that way to the hot water line, as opposed to going into the hot water heater and getting that antifreeze in the hot water heater where you don't want it. And then on the water pump, I have the water valve on. This would be for using the tank system. If I'm using city water, I would turn the hot water the pump off. I'm going to leave it on. I have a city water hookup that I can do it that way, but I want to flush the tank a little bit also and test the pump. It's a new trailer, and I need to test out the whole water system. So I want to use the pump today, and so I'm going to kind of do it that way. And I also want to make sure that the winterization valve right here is in the off position, otherwise water would come shooting out the end of that hose and make a mess. Let's step out and let me show you the outside of my trailer real quick. For my water tank, I have a gravity fill here. It's basically just a pipe that goes right down to my water tank, and I can use a bucket or anything like that to fill it up, or I can just stick the garden hose right in there. I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to use my utility center today. So I have the garden hose hooked up and the water on, and I have this valve where I can switch it between city water, which is down, or tank fill, which is up. So right now I have it in the city water position, and I'm flushing out the radiator fluid, so I'm just going to start with the outside shower here. And so I have it on, and you just want to run it until that water runs clear, and I can smell the antifreeze coming out of it, so you can tell it's in there. So I'm just going to wash my tires. There you can see the pink forming there. We'll just spray that out a little bit. And that looks like it's coming out clear. So I'm going to turn this valve off, turn this one on, and flush out that side of it. I don't know if on the camera if you can see it that well, but I can see the pink tint. And we're just running that until it runs clear. There, now you can see it's running clear now. So I'm going to leave that be. I'm going to turn that valve off. And I'm going to switch over to the tank fill. And I'm going to start filling the tank full of water. So I probably had the camera pointed at the wrong thing, but I turned that valve, that blue valve there, to the up position. And now my tank's filling with water. And down here I have this red switch, and I'm going to turn that on. That turns my pump on. Now let's go back inside the trailer. So here inside the trailer at the command center. Here I can check my fresh water, and the instructions say fill it to 1/3 of a tank, and that's too light, so that's 1/3 of a tank. So now I'm going to turn the water back off again. Okay, and the water's off, and so we're at 1/3 of a tank. So now I'm going to come over to the sink, and just like with the outside shower, give you a little bit of light here, we're going to run the water. So we'll start with the cold water. You can definitely see the pink coming out there. And you can also hear the pump running. And that light should be on, but I think because, there we go. I'll leave that pump switch on also. Those switches are independent. Okay, so that water's running clear. And rinse out the sink there. I'll do, so that was the cold water, and let's step back into the bathroom. And we'll start with the sink again. I'm just going to do the cold water, then I'll come back and do the hot water. So that one cleared out really quickly. Just run it a second there. You can hear a little bit of the air in the line as it runs. And we might as well turn and do the glorious toilet. Alright, so that's running clear, and now we'll come to the shower. Make sure I'm not going to get smacked in the head with pink antifreeze. And we'll turn the shower on. Cold water first. That's running clear. Switch over to the shower head. That's running clear. We'll turn that off. And now we'll do the same process with the hot water. We'll just do it in reverse. We'll start here. There's that pink. That's running nice and clear. We'll switch to the shower head. Looks like nice pressure coming out of that shower head. Didn't know how that was going to work. I like a good strong shower. So we'll rinse this all out. While we're at it. And that looks good. Turn that off. Back to the sink. Do the hot water side on that. That cleared up nicely, so get that residue out of the sink. Ooh, that water's cold. Cold, 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 cold. but it doesn't have any hot water, so we won't bother with that. And we'll come back to the sink, do the hot water on this side. There it goes, pink, pink, pink. I just bought this trailer new, and they made an appointment. I suggest doing this if you buy a trailer from a dealer. Make an appointment 90 days out from when you buy it, so that you can go through and make sure everything's working, and then you have an appointment if something's not working, so you can get it back to them and get that repaired, and you don't have to make an appointment. And we're going in, we're in April, so their appointments are starting to fill up, so it might take us a month or so to get an appointment. So now that's all set. If I was completely done, now what I would do is I would open up the hot water heater, close the bypass valve, and fill the hot water heater. But I'm going to sanitize my system next, and I'll do that in a separate video to keep them short. So when you sanitize, you're going to run bleach through the system, a very weak bleach water combination, and again, you don't want any of that into your hot water heater. So I'm just going to leave it set up just like it is, with the hot water heater is bypassed. And let's just, before we go, take a look at our center here. I'm going to turn this pump off. I have two switches, this one and the one on the utility center. They're not like a three-way switch in your house that I can turn it on and off at either one. I have it on outside, and I can't turn it off that way, but I'll probably use this switch in the future. But just for the video and everything, I use that one. Fresh water. So we probably were just barely at a third of a tank, and so now we're down to a quarter, and the black still and the gray, even though we have a quarter in there, those are almost empty. So that's pretty much all there is for de-winterizing to get that antifreeze out. Nice and simple, didn't take long at all. And next we'll sanitize our water system so that it's usable. Thanks for watching my video, and check us out on www.katskamper, and that's with K's, KATSKAMPER.com.